So the news that dropped just recently is that Adam Driver was talking, I forget who he was talking to, but anyway, he was being interviewed.
Associated Press.
Thank you. And he was discussing a movie that he was potentially being made for 2 years. I was blown away by this news just for the fact that I didn't think Adam Driver, from all the things I had heard, it made it sound like Adam Driver wanted nothing to do with Star Wars again. Like I feel like we all kept hearing that for a long time.
Yeah.
And then just this to drop, like it feels like out of the blue that no, he was actually working on a film, a Kylo Ren or the Hunt for Ben Solo film for 2 years, was it? With Steven Soderbergh? I'm probably saying that wrong, but I'm doing my best. So it's just crazy that this came about. And so that's the news that dropped. And the crazy thing about it in some ways is that he said that it's done, and that's why he's talking about it. So I'll try to get the actual quote here. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
Is this I've got this article here. Is this the one you were talking about?
Yeah, it should be.
Jarmusch, Star Wars and
here it is. Yeah, there's a Star Wars near miss. If you go down just a little bit more there, Dan.
Yeah.
I think down a little bit more. It says here, I always was interested in doing another Star Wars, says Driver, who starred as Kylo Ren in the trilogy kicked off by The Force Awakens. I had been talking about doing another one since 2021. News to me. Kathleen Kennedy had reached out. I always said, with a great director and a great story, I'd be there in a second. I loved that character and loved playing him. So Driver says he took a concept to Soderbergh for a film that would take place after 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. That movie culminated in Ren's redemption and apparent death. Driver had undertaken the trilogy with an arc in mind for Ren that inverted the journey of Darth Vader. As the trilogy evolved, it didn't play out that way. Driver felt that there was unfinished business for Kylo Ren, or as he was known before turning to the dark side, Ben Solo. So I think he goes on here. Sorry, I don't want to cover all that. Oh, here we go. We presented the script to Lucasfilm. They loved the idea. They totally understood our angle and why we were doing it, Driver says. We took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman. That's the crazy part. I do want to highlight this. We took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, previously stating that that Lucasfilm was on board. And they said no. So both of them, Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, said no. They didn't see how Ben Solo was alive, and that was that. And he said it was called The Hunt for Ben Solo, and it was really cool at Driver, but it is no more, so I can finally talk about it. Oh my! And Soderbergh even said in a statement, I really enjoyed making the movie in my head. I'm just sorry the fans won't get to see it. Man, insult to injury right there.
Yeah.
And then it says representatives for Disney and Lucas declined comment. Really?
Boom.
That's a shocker.
Right? So this is crazy news for multiple reasons. I'm just going to highlight a few. The first reason is, who knew that he was actively working on a film? I didn't think Adam Driver wanted to come back to Star Wars, but apparently he did. Crazy enough. The second bit is that it's done and that it was canceled by, and he names them specifically, Bob Iger and I forget the other guy's name, and Alan Bergman. Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, which is crazy. So making it sound like Lucasfilm was on board, which would be KK, which is some news that we're going to get into here shortly. Abysmal's chomping at the bit. And so it's crazy there that he named them specifically, canceling the movie.
Yep.
And just it does sound like a cool film whenever he brings it up. It's kind of a reverse Darth Vader, which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
And how he's redeemed. And with Soderbergh involved, it's just crazy. So there's a lot going on there. Bismo, I know you're ready to rock. What do you think about all this, man? This is the news, and there's even more that's coming, and I'm gonna let you run with that, but we'll talk about this for now, and we can tie it in, obviously.
Let's focus on this story for now, because it's big in itself. But make it to be clear, Adam Driver certainly broke some type of NDA to say this. Like,
thank you.
Definitely, he definitely broke an NDA to say this, and that's pretty big. Like he put himself on the line to some extent, and he directly names Bob Iger. That is not with that. Like that has opened an entirely different can of worms that we are going to be getting into for sure. But yeah, it's just frustrating because it sounded like all of Lucasfilm was aligned on something that more or less most people are pretty positive on. I mean, here, I mean, we're a bit of a mixed crowd, but I'd say we're generally positive about an idea like that, at least as far as sequels content goes. That like that's about as good as it really could get. And to see it canned like that, I guess you can at a low level. It's like, okay, yeah, Ben Solo died, but like how many characters have died in Star Wars and came back to life? And even it stems back like Disney Star Wars. Sure, there's been some inconsistencies as far as stabs that people come back to life, but even dating back to George Lucas Star Wars, I mean, Maul was chopped in half, and he's just like, let's bring him back. It's at the end of the day, it's Star Wars. People want to see cool, good characters and good stories. With how kind of lame his ending was at the end of the already very lame Rise of Skywalker, it's not that far-fetched an idea to somehow bring him back or to say he never actually died or something like that. So that's my initial thoughts. What do you guys think, though?
Yeah, and thank you for bringing up the NDA. I knew I had one more thing, but I forgot. So thank you for bringing up that. It does seem like he definitely broke one of the NDAs. We were talking about it a little bit before. It depends on the contract, I guess, and the format it was written for the NDA. Because I was almost speculating, what if since it was canceled, or at least they say it's canceled, is this canceled? Is this
shelved?
is it actually shelved or not shelved?
I don't. That's that I'm not sold on. I'm not sold on this is, it's done. No, this sounds like a Adam Driver, like he actually really wanted to do this. It sounded like he's always wanted to do this, cancel or not. This seems like a last ditch potential effort for him to maybe stir something up. And like we saw today at the main Star Wars YouTube channel, they posted Ben Solo content, and that cannot be a coincidence. That absolutely cannot be a coincidence. And I mean, it was Steven Soderbergh, is a great director, and they're vouching for a script. It sounds good from what they're saying. Like this had all the makings of a potentially a good movie. I mean, obviously we can't go that far with it. I mean, it doesn't exist per se, but the idea was there, and they put a lot of work on it, and everybody at Lucasfilm, including Kathleen Kennedy, supported this supposedly. And for him to name somebody as powerful as Bob Iger and directly tell the world that he said no, that opens the can of worms to some other potential rumors that we can get into in a little bit. That I don't know how much we want to get into, but I do trust a lot of these sources. It's the tip of the iceberg, is what I would say.
Yeah, I think we'll have some good discussion with it as well. We'll get into that in just a minute here. I did want to get fact checker's take on this as well. Adam Driver dropping this. What do you think about this news, fact checker?
A lot of thoughts. I mean, in so many ways it makes sense, because Kylo Ren is a huge entity or brand itself. In all the theme parks, the Star Wars areas. Why are you laughing?
I don't know. I'm just
okay. and
my line of sight is looking at at Dan and then the fact checker. So,
in the theme parks, he's a main feature in the Galaxy's Edge and stuff. As far as like Star Wars villains, a lot of times they picture Darth Vader and Kylo Ren. So he's super well known, and people I think would absolutely buy into more of his story, more so than maybe Rey, as you already said. But then also I saw that Oscar Isaac mentioned recently that they had him read, different storylines, or read as like maybe being a love interest for Rey.
For Rey, yeah.
Or they just had like different kind of plot lines that they had him read for, because they didn't know where the story was going to go. I'm like, once again, it just proves that they didn't know what they were doing. And so to now hear Adam Driver confirm that for the 1,000th time, that they didn't know what they were doing, is just such a shame.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't have billions of dollars on the line, and everybody's like fandoms in my fingertips.
Right. It would be a difficult, to your point there, it is a difficult decision to greenlight a lot of these things. And that's the only, let's get your take on it, and then I'll talk about it a little bit.
I mean, I'm just thinking along the same lines as fact checker and you guys, the fact that I was like, when he said the name Bob Iger, I was like, Are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to talk about it right now? Are we going to get shut down?
Did we sign an NDA?
It's kind of scary.
We can say whatever we want.
Yeah,
He's
it's
very
true.
powerful. He is powerful.
To call somebody out like that, people are calling him Palpatine and stuff. I don't know, but like Sidious, no.
The true
like,
Phantom Menace, I think KG said.
The true Phantom Menace. He pretty much put KK up against, Bob Iger, saying that she agreed, but he didn't. Mm-hmm. So it sounds to me like, he's trying to split things and get his way, because, hey, the film company that wants to make the film, including the actors, and they've got it all set, ready to go, but obviously the corporate side of it, like what usually happens, steps on it, and there it goes like a bug.
Yeah, and I will play a little bit, give a little bit of pushback in some ways to his point, Dan. You were saying, billions of dollars at risk here with a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
We did see the financials, which we're going to go over a little bit later, for The Rise of Skywalker, and then for them to come to him with an idea potentially of resurrecting another character in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. I could see it because of the diminishing returns of the brand and how it had been handled up until that point, not knowing how involved Bob Iger is or was or whatever in the Star Wars brand, how involved day-to-day stuff, which it just sounds like he's green-lighting things and knocking them down. Like ultimately it sounds like the decision's going to him, which is interesting in a lot of ways, which is what we're going to get into. But in some ways, I can understand why he might be tentative to greenlight something like this for multiple reasons, and also for the financials situations, knowing that in the background and how much they had spent on Star Wars so far and how much they paid for it. Unfortunately, it might have come down to a business decision to be like, I don't know if it's not done better than the sequel trilogy, I don't know if we can make profit off this. Is this just going to be more of the same? Do we want to give it some more time type situation? I don't know. There's a lot of things. Just a little bit of pushback.
Do we know? Sorry, quick question. Do we know when this might have been proposed to Bob Iger?
Well, he said,
because I'm just curious, like the things they chose to greenlight possibly after this, how did those make the cut?
Right.
More so than this movie.
That's an interesting part. And that's what we're going to get into with Bismo though, too, from a lot of there's still rumors. Technically, we don't know if it's fact or not, but
wasn't it greenlit in like 2021? They started working on it. And
he said, I've been talking about another one since 2021. Kathleen Kennedy had reached out. So it sounded like she reached out to him. I always said with a great director. So she might have pitched at least somewhat of an idea or asked him if he'd be interested in doing another one. And then he proposed the idea, the concept to Soderbergh. I'm not sure who originally, but he says, Driver says he took a concept to Soderbergh for a film that would take place after The Rise of Skywalker. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting, and then it got ultimately turned down, and I'm not sure the time frame of that for when it got turned down, but it's from 2021. I guess it would probably have to be in 2023 because he said he'd been working on it for like 2 years, unless it just recently happened. I don't know, but
sounds pretty recent.
Yeah. So
the KG had a comment that said, I don't think it would have worked too well a few years back, so close to the sequels coming out. But now that we just hit the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens, more people would be ready.
I agree with that statement.
And
I do think we've had a little bit more time.
Yeah, she said more. They were focused completely on TV at that point. Movie theaters still weren't doing well because of post-pandemic.
Right. That's another good point. It still was tough during that time. 2021. There's so many elements that go into this, and that's why it's hard to have a black or white cut on this. Only Sith deals in absolutes, and that's it's difficult. There's a lot of gray area. Go ahead.